We love our TVs, but if it's been a few years since you've bought one or even looked at one closely at retail, wow, you are going to be blown away by their size, clarity, brightness, contrast, and color. This is especially true for LG's OLED TVs, now celebrating 10 years, as it's like night and day compared to other brands and their technologies. And so I wanted to invite back onto the show Gilles Pereira, Senior Go-To Market Manager at LG. Good to chat with you again, Gilles. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again, Mark. It's great to be here, as always. I always look forward to talking to you. So, yeah.
Awesome. Likewise. So with LG celebrating a decade of its OLED TVs, congrats, by the way, we have talked a lot about this panel technology over the years, often with you as my guest, Gilles. So tell us, what should we get excited about when it comes to LG OLED?
Yeah, for sure. And I've been blessed to be part of this last decade of OLED. I was at the original launch party, actually, and it's definitely been a fantastic opportunity for me in my career to see it from its inception and each year that it's evolved from, adding resolution, HDR formats, adding different form factors. And it's been exciting to see the new and latest and greatest that they've come out with each year. Mm-hmm. And this year is no different. We've actually come up with some fantastic new concepts, some new form factors, and some new picture quality improvements that are sure to be the leading edge in the industry for picture quality and overall TV.
Awesome. All right. So again, after 10 years, I'm sure many of our listeners have heard of LG OLED, but for those who don't know the specifics, let's talk about what makes OLED special. For those less tech savvy, can you speak a bit about the key features of OLED technology?
For sure. So at the core, what makes it unique versus any other current TV technology is the pixels actually light individually. So they're self-lit pixels. Yeah, for some of your listeners, you might have heard that as an explanation at, stores or online as they're researching for the TV that they're going to buy. But essentially what that means is each individual pixel gets its light individually. So the ability to create a perfect black image is uncomparable, and no other TV in the market can get anywhere close to the same contrast ratio that an OLED can get. So non-OLEDs would use some kind of LED backlight system in conjunction with either an LED or a mini LED light source. So you'll hear things like full array, edge lit, direct lit, things of that nature. So OLED doesn't use any of those. It's individual pixel control. So on a 4K TV, you're actually talking about over 8 million individually lit pixels. So, if you're comparing that to a full array TV, maybe it can control 100 zones, maybe 1,000 on a mini LED. So we're talking millions here. So the impact on the viewer's experience is drastic and very noticeable.
In other words, some TVs that have a backlight, many of them do, even when that pixel is black, because there's a backlight behind it, it can end up looking a little bit more gray or washed out, right? But with an OLED TV, when you want perfect blacks, it just turns itself off. So giving you that gorgeous deep blacks that we want, that depth in an image.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And the first part of what I said when we started our conversation, a lot of the flexibility in things like form factor are because of that self-lit pixel structure. Mm-hmm. So there's less total parts to the TV. So from an environmental standpoint, it's actually much easier to recycle, and more of the materials are less toxic. Mm-hmm. But the flexibility, so we have transparent TVs, and that's strictly because we have this flexibility because of OLED self-lit pixels.
Yeah.
We've had curved OLED TVs. We have OLED TVs that roll up into an audio box. It also applies to gaming monitors. So now you're going to start to hear more and more about gaming monitors that are made with OLED technology versus LCD. So the sky's the limit really with OLED, and we've kind of gone back each year and looked at, hey, how can we make this even better this year? And that's, we keep coming out with fantastic new leading technology with OLED kind of at the forefront.
Speaking of which, we've heard about LG OLED Gallery Series TVs. What's new about these this year?
The Gallery Series is remarkable. It's essentially taken our wallpaper TV from 2017, which for anybody listening that remembers, essentially it was a very thin panel, but it needed an external box to run the image on the screen. So we took that concept and we redesigned it. So now it's completely housed within the TV. It's about 19 millimeters from wall to screen, and it's completely uniform top to bottom. And it comes with a custom bracket in the box with the TV. So essentially it sits on your wall like a painting, like a piece of art. So that's been the form factor for a couple of years now. But what we've done this year is we've introduced a new light architecture, which is essentially putting these like little mirrors, if you were, on top of the light. So we're not doing anything really with the light itself. The reason why that's important is you don't want to overdrive the light source, and then the TV might actually prematurely wear out its lifespan. What we're doing is we're really harnessing the current light source using these little micro lenses. And we're talking billions of these little micro lenses with a B. And what that's giving you is a much higher peak luminance. So we're talking up to 70% brighter than a non-OLED Evo, a non-LG OLED Evo model. So let's say a B series as an example. So that's going to give you drastically better picture quality. The off-angle viewing is also shockingly better than, for sure, non-OLED TVs, but even our non-OLED Evo models, it's quite noticeable. And then even just things like color reproduction and color accuracy and how that remains consistent regardless of the content you're watching. It's a quite stunning TV, and we're already seeing lots of great reviews on the G series model for this year.
We're chatting with Gilles Pereira, Senior Go-To Market Manager at LG. We're talking about the 10th anniversary of LG OLED and the benefits of this panel technology over other kinds of TVs. So compared to the LG OLED Gallery series that you just shared with us, Gilles, the Object TVs, OBJET, that's a whole other sort of animal, right? Can you talk to us how it works and some of the benefits that this form provides?
For sure. So Objet is kind of an umbrella of products across categories. So we have home entertainment products like TVs, we have appliance products, kind of a unique lifestyle focus or solution for these products. So specifically within our home entertainment product assortment, we have a product called the Pose. So essentially we're taking what has been seen to be the best picture quality in the industry. So if you have an LG OLED Evo, similar to what we would have in our C series as the picture, but it's housed within this very beautiful interior design focused form factor. So it's this kind of like white and beige, very rounded edge on an easel. So it kind of looks like almost like a piece of art. It was actually picked and used in a recent art gallery showcase in Milan, the MUI, I think that's how you pronounce it, the MUI art showcase. It was one of the focus feature products that was used in conjunction with the art experience there. So it's definitely not a conventional TV. You don't just, take it out of the box and mount it onto the wall. It kind of fits into whatever interior concept you already have going on. There's even like a media shelf on the back of it. So if you did want to put like, I don't know, an internet router or a cable box, kind of stylize it a little bit. So if you have color matching kind of lifestyle focus in your interior design, you can put maybe a vinyl record or a book to kind of color match with the wall, or maybe some accent pillows you might have. Yeah, the overall tip is quite interesting.
That's cool. I remember talking with you about that. Any other LG products, Gilles, that have you excited this year?
Yeah, so one of the most exciting products that I've seen in the last few years, actually, because I think essentially once you see a TV, I mean, obviously the picture quality gets better and the form factors get slimmer, and there's all these things that kind of stay within the same framework of a standard TV. It's going to be mounted on your wall or it's going to be put on a table. And the way the TV works is pretty standard within that framework. Not much has changed. Whereas we have launched this new TV called the Stand By Me, which essentially is a combination of maybe a large tablet and a TV combined. So it's housed on a kind of a rolling stand or a rollable stand. So you can actually move it anywhere within your living space. It does have these wheels on the base, so it's very easy to move around. It has a built-in 3-hour battery. It's, Wi-Fi enabled, obviously all these things that you would expect from a TV. So it has your streaming services, your Netflixes, your Disneys, etc. It also has AirPlay. So if you don't have an app on our WebOS platform that you like to use, you can use it on your phone and just AirPlay that directly to the TV. It's very, very interesting. It's one of those things you might not know you need before you see it, but once you see it and you see all the different applicable use cases for it, one that really comes to mind that resonates with me, I have a lot of friends with kids that, they don't necessarily want to have a TV in their bedroom because they want to make sure that, maybe they're controlling what they're watching, or they want them to be more integrated with the family. So this to me is interesting. You could maybe roll in the TV for TV time for an hour, let's say, and then, you can roll it out at the end of the night, or, when it's time to get back to homework or what have you, right? And there's so many different use cases for it. It also can rotate, so vertical or horizontal orientation. So depending on the use case. You can, I'm watching a yoga video, want to know how to do some of these different poses, roll it into the gym that you have in the house or onto the patio as you're having some guests over, maybe for a summer evening.
I was going to say the same thing. Like for entertaining, you can wheel it outside if you're lucky enough to have like a backyard deck or something and have a karaoke night or something like that because it's wireless, right? And then you can then wheel it back inside, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's a 27-inch screen. It's touch screen and it has a 3-hour built-in battery and it moves around anywhere you want in the house. So awesome. If you can kind of conceptualize that and think of all the different use cases, I think it's a pretty interesting new product.
All right, Gilles, thank you so much again for your time. Always great chatting with you. And I always learn something too, because I'm so ingrained in this tech world that when I learn about something new, I get excited about it. So thank you, Gilles. For the folks at home, where can we learn more about the latest innovations in LG's OLED TV lineup?
If I can actually thank you for that, because it's a huge compliment coming from someone like yourself.
Thanks,
Gilles. Years in the industry. So I'm very flattered anytime you give me a compliment. But
thanks, Gilles.
For any additional information and everything we've discussed today, head over to lg.com.
All right, LG.com. Gilles Pereira has been our guest. Thank you once again, Gilles. Always a pleasure. All the best. Be well.
Thank you so much. You too.